Later, as in.
While we're live.
So we're not live right now?
We're almost going to be live.
We're almost there.
Now we are going live, but I'm not going to say live yet.
How many people hop on and watch?
Anyway, 20, 30. But then I share it again.
Mm-hmm.
I continue to share it, and I'll do a watch party, and it'll go out in our newsletter.
That's awesome.
I'm playing Dub Conscious in the background. Adrian Delsky, HGH Seed Company, dubconscious.com. Check them out. Thanks for not suing me, Adrian. Live from the mighty Veedworks Airship, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Works Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedworks.
And I'm Julie Richardson, Director of Commercialization and Promotions. And today we have with us very special Can-A-Fam, Colorado NORML's very own Ashley Weber. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
This has been, we've scheduled you a couple of times, but I think it was during legislative times. And so.
Not only that, but I think we got a snowstorm one of those times.
Yeah, it
But
was.
It closed down the legislation day.
Mm-hmm. It did. And you and I, we've spent many hours up there, but we've got a lot going on this next year. I want to get to that. But first, tell me about Colorado NORML. When I bring up Colorado NORML to people who aren't in the industry, they say things like, oh, they're still, white. Everything's legalized. There's still a lot of work to be done.
There's a ton of work to be done. It seems like once a subject has a magnifying glass on it, you find all of the bits and pieces that are broken. And still in Colorado, we have many of those that still need to be fixed.
Yeah. And that's what's coming up this next year. With your board members, what kind of diversity do you have?
We have lawyers, of course. Those are always good to have on staff. Yes. And we have advocates and consumers coalition groups that protect the consumers and offer knowledge on every aspect of the consumers that we can't get our hands on. And over the past couple of years, we've noticed how much more we're able to get done by working together with other organizations. So we see a lot that got done last year, and we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But we just saw so much get accomplished that we want to work together with other organizations, and that brings us to having committees, which we've created now since we've grown as an organization.
Right. And this isn't just Colorado NORML, discovering the power of collaboration. Any of the nonprofit groups, and regardless of what you're working on, the mindset of, oh, we're just out for us and let's push for our funding isn't the way to do it anymore. It's all about who are you partnering with, who are you working with.
Yeah, everybody has their own lane, but when you bring other organizations that have some type of, I guess, an interjection to that lane that could help make that lane stronger, you need to bring them to the table.
Right. Well, I give the analogy of race cars all the time.
Yes.
You can have a great engine, but if you don't have a battery and spark plugs and gas, and you're not going anywhere with that wonderful engine of yours.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You guys meet quarterly, right?
Yes, we have quarterly meetings with Colorado NORML sort of rebranding. It'll be National NORML's 50th anniversary this year.
Holy heck, really?
It will be.
50 years?
50
Wow.
years will be National NORML's 50th anniversary this year.
Wow.
So we're definitely going to be promoting what they're doing with that anniversary, and can't wait to share more with you about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you look like you have a question.
Huh? My question is, number one, I want to say hi to Karen Peak and Michael Canada. and Julie Davison,
Yes.
Brian Rainwater. Thanks for joining, everybody. And I just was hoping to get a mic check from somebody to see if you guys can hear Ashley okay. I can't sometimes tell with my...
With your headphones.
Yeah, and I always hate it when we lose good audio, but I think this sounds good, so I'm going to... Unless somebody tells me any different, I'm going to assume that we're doing okay.
Right. Now you travel and go to a lot of the national NORML events, don't you?
National NORML had their Washington event this year. I wasn't able to make it. My son had picture day, and that was pretty important. He wanted to dress in a suit and tie, so I had to get him all ready that morning. So I did miss it this year, and but we did have representatives there that were representing Colorado
Nice.
NORML, and Las Vegas NORML was there, and Madison's doing such a great job down there in Nevada, and it's great to see the chapters becoming so much stronger and becoming stronger on a national level.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps.
Yeah, it does help. It does help. Now, if somebody wanted to join NORML, what entails with that?
Well, I just redid the whole website.
Did you?
I migrated it over from Business Catalyst over to Weebly, and it was a 3-month process. And finally finished it. So we have multiple levels of memberships. Those who are just beginners and wanting to get in and learning just what Cannabis 101 is, and that's, I think, a $10 membership. And then we have the $25 and then the $50 advocate membership. And with that, you come to the Capitol and learn how bills are made and lobby and meet with representatives and things like that. And we also have our lifetime, which we always love, which is, I think, 3,000, 1,000,
wow.
3,000. But anyhow,
You can count on me
Yes.
for that 50.
Exactly. But overall, we just love to be there for the consumers and the patients and protecting them from what we've seen kind of go on
Right.
in industry. So
Well, you had a lot of lobby days last year, and that's a perfect opportunity for somebody who they want to get involved. They never have done it before. They're maybe anxious about doing something like that, and you come to lobby day, and here you're surrounded by people who every walk of life, and you're given tips on what to wear, how to speak, how to put it together, and when your turn is and how to address it and all that. It's important to give these people these tools so that they feel confident and they feel like their voice matters, and they'll come back. Because there's so many times I've been, doesn't matter what capital I'm at, it's if we have a group of people, well, then somebody's listening and paying attention.
right. Well, I'm really excited for 2020 session, because we're going to have 3 lobby days, and we're going to be combining with other organizations, and I'm really looking forward to teaching people how a bill is made, even, and who the representatives are, because a lot of those people living in any district, they're not sure who their representatives are, and if they have a problem with their community, who they need to discuss this with. And there's a simple tool that you just type in your zip code, and it will
Right.
bring up exactly who your House rep and who your senator is. And it's a lot of people don't know about it, so it's good to bring that information to the people who can make the changes and who are looking to do so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know there's several elected officials that also have money for grant writers and benefits and stuff like that. So if you're a nonprofit, it's even more important to know who that person is, because they may have access to different things that you may need. I've had everything from office use to grant writing services to helping with my advertising budget with different, all coming from your legislative officials.
Yeah, and the program that we use with Action Network, we're able to pinpoint your letters. So we will make the letters for you beforehand, and then it will go straight to your representatives. So it's a really good program, and that's another thing that people can do on our website is sign up for our mailing
Nice.
our mailing list, and then get onto our action network and see what action alerts we have and send any letters that they feel is important to them.
Now, I like that. There was another activist, whereas she didn't like that thought. She goes, oh, I don't like putting words in people's mouth. But I have found through letter writing campaigns that if you do a pre-written letter, the person will read it, go, yeah, I agree with that, bam, and hit that button.
Exactly, and it's easier to get across one mission and one point rather than having everybody all over the place.
Right,
'Cause
and
it
a
just
heartfelt reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can get kind of confusing when you bring 50 different ideas to the table when you only have a certain amount of time. You really want to hit that one point.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, I know that over the past couple of years, you and I,
Sorry. I'm that guy this time.
you're that guy. We were involved in supporting several candidates.
yes.
And that's always exciting and fun to figure out who supports us. And because, if you're in the cannabis industry and you're not involved with this part of it, then you're not paying attention, because it's so important to support people coming into office that support us and that like-minded.
Absolutely, yes. We started doing endorsements, I would say, 2 years ago, and it's been a learning experience from there. I that's as much as I'll say, but I have discovered there are many different ways and to address the politicians who are looking to run for either city council or to get on even as a prosecutor. We've been contacted by a few DAs. Even.
Really?
Yeah. And they have asked for Colorado NORML's endorsements. And, we don't feel as a consumers organization that there should be any prosecution. But then we look at it from the standpoint of you can't control everything, and there needs to be, if people are blasting openly in their home, there needs to be, that line.
Right.
So if we can find somebody who is going to know that line and not prosecute unfairly and
Right.
unjust cannabis, anything cannabis related, then I think we need, we're thinking about standing behind even some of those. So it's interesting. So even though it's legalized, we get to ask questions on how many dispensaries are in their district. So then they have to think about really how many dispensaries do I really represent, and it makes them think. And so we do send out a questionnaire to every one of the endorsements that we do give, and we get answers back, and it's interesting to see how the tables are turning, and people are starting to understand how important cannabis really is to the community, to revenue, to their city, to their people, and medicinally as well.
Right.
I'd like to point out that when you say blasting openly, she's not talking about like smoking a joint or something. You're talking
No.
about blowing butane through an open container in your own house and blowing it up.
Yes.
I was just thinking about how
The viewers
blasting.
are viewing this right now.
Yeah. You're blasting.
Blasting open.
yeah, there need to be certain restrictions in place, but yeah, where you draw that line is definitely
Absolutely.
what it's all about.
Are we going to be doing anything to protect leasing and rental units?
Absolutely. There is a housing piece that Leslie Herod is on, and she's really an advocate for the housing community. and I believe that she'll be touching on this topic, and she's got that one covered.
Because I get it. I absolutely get it. If I had rental property and somebody, wanted to grow on there, I'd be concerned about blasting. I had some roommates. I moved out, and one of the issues was that's what they wanted to do in the basement, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I left, and they ended up blowing that house up, burned it to the ground.
Wow.
And so if I had, I would understand that. But I also, as somebody who's trying to rent property, they'll put on there, and I just got through doing this, no marijuana. They don't,
Yes.
of course, because it's not, they give the federally legal excuse, no oils, no anything. So I hope my apartment complex isn't watching, because I've got all kinds of oils and topicals, and
How can they tell you that you can't eat a candy bar?
All right.
Do they say that?
Well, it does say in there, no oils of any type.
You should put them on blast.
So, and I hate to tell you, that top shelf of my refrigerator slapped full of different
What do they
concoctions
expect you to do?
of butters. And
Do they expect you to go outside across the street?
yeah.
Is that what
Yeah. I have to leave the property.
Wow.
And, I'm hoping they don't pay that close attention, but, they would have to be inspecting me all the time. But no growing. It's not like I can put a plant in a pot, and because I really need to have it fresh. I would love just 3 plants, just to, be rotating, just to be putting in a smoothie. And nobody can do that.
Yes.
It's in all the leases.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're looking to address that. I think other organizations out there are also discussing what they can do, especially for the medical patients, because those are the people who really suffer the consequences. It's not those who really need it recreationally in their house.
Right.
It's those who medicinally need it.
now, I've seen some nightmare situations, where they put in the water treatment, and it's all osmosis and completely gutted out basements and what have you,
Right.
to put in grows and rental houses.
Yeah.
I get that. But, there's ways to stop that.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't have to just limit everybody.
It's these two extremes, here.
Yes.
Whereas I want to grow like I would a house plant or a tomato. I don't want a big recreational grow.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what bothered me about the testimony from the opposing side at, I think it was 1220, 17, 1220,
It was 18.
18, 1220, House Bill 18, 1220.
Might be 17. I'm not quite sure. That
They,
one was
they had a
terrible
bunch
bill.
of cops get up there and say,
Oh,
yeah, unless you limit home grows, then we'll be tripping over power cords and getting electrocuted, and there's water, and it'll cause fires and stuff. And like, there was nothing that they said that applied to cannabis that could not also apply to tomatoes or cucumbers or sunflowers or ferns. And so I was hoping that if they're going to limit our plant count, to limit the total plant count in your house.
Right.
What if I grow, 3 cannabis plants and 18 corn plants in my basement and have the same?
Right.
I mean, a lot of their arguments were about the trip and fall hazards of the first responders moving into houses and the landlord stuff, which
And I get that. I mean, I would just move from a 3-bedroom townhome to a 1-bedroom tiny apartment, and I like houseplants, and I look like I'm losing at Jumanji. It's just there everywhere. I've got ivies, and
It was good for you. It's a good environment.
Yeah.
Creates oxygen and
yeah,
it's a good
medicinal
environment to have.
aloes
Yes.
and just
Yeah.
monsters. And
I love aloe plants.
oh, do you?
Yes.
Mine has babies a lot. Has a little shoot off babies.
Mine's ready to be repotted because
Oh, okay.
it's big. It's really, really big.
Yeah.
So
Has yours bloomed yet?
no.
Oh my goodness, I was so surprised. I didn't know what it was. It looked like this alien thing coming up out. That's how I realized what I had. And they have to be like over 10 years old before they bloom.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's when I realized I had a medical grade aloe. Is when I'm taking it to LSU, going, "What is this? You know, what's going on?" It was beautiful, and they don't bloom every year, but every so often. But I notice the sap gets stronger and stronger once they bloom.
It's
They're cool.
interesting.
Anyway, you've got one, so I won't bring you a baby one. I'm always looking for people to
Yeah, I know.
give my babies to.
I'd like one.
I'll give you one.
My son has 2 cactuses on the kitchen table. They get a lot of sunlight, and
Warmth.
Shoot, yeah.
yeah, their names are Jimmy and Sheila. So, I think a third little aloe plant that'd be.
That would work.
I mean,
Every
if you're giving them
household
out.
needs one.
That's right. My son would name it Billy Bob.
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Everything's Billy Bob.
That's like my
Unless it's his fish, and then it's the month he got it, because it usually dies really soon.
Oh no!
So we have August right now. He's still alive.
When's the next chapter meeting?
We are going to schedule the 2020 quarterly meetings, and the first one we're going to have in February. And I don't have a date yet set, but we'll have it after session starts, and people can come and input whatever they think needs to be talked about, or they can ask, how do I do the testimony, how do I come in, how do I write my testimony, because I get that a lot, how do I write my testimony. And so I just will give everybody a template, and if they want to follow it, change it how they like. That's what's really good about the website that we have now.
Nice.
Too is that we can do that. And then definitely one in May,
Yes.
and another one in July, because it's always good to have a barbecue in the middle of the summer. And then another one in November. I'm really liking November, right before everything gets really, really busy. The end of November, you're doing Thanksgiving, and then everybody's doing their holidays and Christmas, or in December, whatever holidays they celebrate. And then the New Year, and then session starts.
Yeah.
So you don't get much time to really think about what you're going to do at the Capitol. So now's the time.
Now's the time to get going with
Yeah.
Will the meetings be at the Ozone?
Yes, they will be. I have Chris Moore is a very supportive of Colorado NORML, and she's offered her space to have once a month, but I just haven't yet had the time to put together monthly meetings yet. So
it. Right.
and hopefully we can work with other organizations and kind of just once every other month have a meeting to get people together again.
Right. Well, you have something really cool, and this is why you're here today. Is
Yes.
we have a huge Day of the Dead party coming up. You say it in Spanish. I'll kill it.
Well, I'm still a white girl, but it's Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
Where's Danielle when we need her?
Yes, we need her very much.
Yeah.
But I did reach out to her, and I asked her if she wanted to take part and and be here, because she would just be perfect. And
Yes.
she's gonna be in Mexico. So.
Oh. Well, if for those of you who don't know who we're talking about, Canna Latino,
Yes.
our partner in CBD and cannabis education, she has the first cookbook for cannabis that publisher ever had published, that was originally written in Spanish instead of translated from English to Spanish.
Yes.
So we're very
So-
proud of her, and she does a lot of good work in the
She
industry
does.
internationally. Anywhere they speak Spanish, she's there.
I want to give a shout out to her. She
Yes.
donated one of her magazines in Spanish for us to raffle off at
Nice.
this event on November 2nd. So thank you so
Nice.
much,
That's
Canna
awesome.
Latina.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
Canna
she
Latina.
is.
All right, so this is going to be November 2nd from 5 to 10.
Yes.
And we're not saying where it's at.
We could.
It's-
What if we say it in
It's
Pig
non-consent-
Latin?
Pig Latin?
Yeah. Like,
I know. VIP tickets are going fast.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's, well, I
can
mean,
you say what town it's in? What city?
Denver.
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 In Denver, for
In
sure.
Denver proper.
Denver. proper.
Not the greater Denver metro area, not up in.
We could say.
So are we going to have dance lessons or just the dancing and the
Just dancing, lots of dancing. We have a 9-man band, and they're gonna
Wow.
bring all of their instruments out and play, and people go out there, dress up. For sure, dress up. We're having a Sweetest Skull in Town contest. So
Oh,
that
sweetest
should-
skull in town?
Yes. Yes.
That's funny.
Like if you paint your face up like a skull?
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
this?
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
just
cool.
Exactly.
Oh,
like
that's
this.
really cool.
And then also we have a face painter coming. So for those of you who can't face paint, we will have some face painters there, and they're gonna VIP will definitely get face painting if
Really?
they want it. Yeah.
Well, I may have to just do the VIP ticket just to do it. I can, but I have to talk my hands into it.
Yeah.
Just,
a lot of
in
work.
here, I still can. But all right, so you have a taco bar,
Uh-huh.
drinks, face painting, raffle, door prizes, goodie badge, lounge, early bird tickets, and that goes right up until
A
the week before.
A week before. So I think on the early bird tickets are good until the 25th or 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a $20 price. That gets you in the door, open bar, taco, dancing, music, games. We have a really cool game called Game of Bones. Should be fun. So then after that, we've got just the $25 tickets, but we're doing a group package to where if you buy 2 or more at regular price, you get 1 VIP pass, and that gets you to the off-site consumption area. So
Off-site
Yeah.
consumption area?
yes,
Like a
we'll-
bus?
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll have a bus
Bus.
off-site. Yeah. This will be a fun event, so I had to charge a little bit for people to get in.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know.
So early bird tickets are $20. Late bird tickets are $25.
And VIP tickets are $50.
And include a
And
free face paint if you want it.
free face paint, and also
Face paint, consumption, all of what all goes into the VIP.
all of that plus a bag worth a value of $125 worth of goodies.
Wow.
Yes.
So you definitely get your
You get your
50
money's worth,
bucks
yes.
back.
But this event is a fundraiser for Colorado NORML for the 2020 legislative session, but it's also for us to give some money towards an externship that we just started, and it's with the Denver University, and we have one externship person who will be coming online with us in January, and they get 2 credits for their college courses as a law
Nice.
student, and we are accepting at least one more extern, but we want it to be a paid externship, and because I know how expensive college is, and
Right.
so we're just trying to do right with what's right. So
What's the difference between an intern and an extern?
an extern is somebody who's getting credit for what they are doing. So he would get an extern gets credit for their school,
Like school credit.
school credits.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So
That sounds even better than an internship.
yes.
Right. So just experience, you get actual credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's
And working with NORML, I bet you guys are going to be flooded with offers.
Yeah, it should be definitely a new it's a new avenue that we've opened up as an organization to offer those people who go into criminal defense or go into representing, the industry in any way, or just knowing the ins and the outs of how a bill is created, and the contacts and the know-how of what you learn when you're at the Capitol is enough experience to get you through your job as a lawyer. So I think once you go through the Capitol, you've experienced it all.
Yeah.
And
So, how's the hemp farm?
the hemp farm's good. It as you know, it's snowed. It's frozen.
Tell us about the hemp farm. Where's your hemp farm? How big is it? Like,
my
tell us
farmer, he is out in Brighton.
about Brighton.
He's got 90 acres. They did it last year, and then they did it again this year. Not as many this year as last year, because last year was a big feat for us to manage. But everything, it's harvest season right now, so they're working their butt off out there as we
Yeah.
speak.
So, did you get damage from the snow?
You know, there wasn't much. A lot of it was insulated. You know, the outer edges got a little bit of snap freeze, but they were pretty well insulated because they were planted pretty close together.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, they were able to.
yeah,
That's exciting.
it is.
They're harvesting right now still?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're still.
90 acres.
Yeah,
How are they harvesting it?
He has an equipment that he brought in over from France, and he's going. It's a saw blade, and then it takes it up with nails, and then it
Kind of like pulls it up,
yeah,
right?
it pulls it up. Yeah, just like a
Tobacco farming?
Yeah.
tobacco harvester. Yeah,
Tobacco harvester.
An automatic one.
Yeah.
So he has a good setup out there.
It's kind of
And
bizarre
then-
to see it happening.
It's amazing, actually. I haven't been out there for so long that I need to get out there again.
And then is the drying facility all
The
like
drying-
that's the new problem that people are having now in these other states where they don't have the infrastructure. They're like, yeah, all right, finally harvesting my hemp, and
Drying
and-
barns are never big enough.
yeah,
Everybody's planting so much, and in the spring it's like, oh, we'll figure it out. Towards the end, you know, it's not going to be a big deal, and then it starts getting cold, and you're like, I need to find somewhere to go, and then you just rush in, and yeah, but they're never big enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that needs to be solved probably soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping with the farm bill, that subsidies would come in
Right.
and where manufacturing dollars could be invested and they would have one-to-one money something.
Well, if we're gonna have want to make a big industry out of this, we need to have somewhere to go with the stocks and somewhere to go with the extra leftovers.
Mhm.
And I think that that can go into a decorticating system to where we can use the lignins and we can separate that and use it for paper and sugars and you know, create a whole different world,
Right.
honestly, because you could do so much with it.
Yeah. Well, if you
Lignins are like the gluey. Is that what?
Yeah.
I've seen one operation in Colorado doing that. Pure hemp, I think.
Pure Hemp Technologies.
Yeah, up in
Fort Lupton.
Fort Lupton. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm.
They're-
They have a
they're
huge facility.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just spoke at a sustainability event. Ed's brother Carl, Ed Ludberger and Carl Ludberger, they just spoke at a sustainability event and were talking about accepting biomass and having this decortication processing facility to able to do this process. So they're probably one of the first in the States, but if we could get government subsidies, just imagine the amount of money that we could,
Yeah, and
the amount
that's
of the facility that we could build that would take in all this biomass and just solve the problem.
oh yeah.
And I mean, we have a railway and we
It's
got Trump
all
as president,
set
so
up.
let's use coal again, right? No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But we could use the railways and we could go along there and
just
and-
like corn, just like oats or wheat or whatever.
Yeah, when I was setting up the Great Plains Hemp Co-op years and years ago, like before it was cool, it was hard to get the farmers to come on board, and once they did, they really saw what it could do, and it was difficult to get everybody together because we didn't have anybody to go where with the biomass. So the co-op kind of is been overshadowed by the CBD industry because everything CBD is cool. And now we need to bring it back to the industry to where we can do something with the extras from the CBD that everybody's been
Yeah,
getting.
because it's an absolute it could be a no waste product.
Absolutely.
I was stung by a bee yesterday, and first thing I have in my purse is Flora's root salve that she makes from the roots, and put it on there, and I don't have it controlled the swelling.
Did it?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's good.
It didn't.
FlorasMercantile.com.
Yes,
Or you
she
can go to
has-
Veedwerks.com. I think. Did we sell her salve? You can get it from our website too, Veedwerks.com.
Yep. And but so she uses the root and golden seal, and then puts, I can't tell you everything that she does to do it, but so she utilizes that, and then we have the fibers, and we've barely begun on the fibers, and the oils and the glues, and that's not even the flour.
No, it's so much. And if I just can't wait to get a field and try doing just the seed and flour with the males and seeing what you get, because the seed is such a good makes everything, animal feed and oil, just the hemp seed that you can find in the store from Manitoba Harvest. So out at the farm, my farmer has a seed squishing machine, and he does a lot of his hemp oil, and it's neat to see the biomass that comes out of that. It just looks like kale chips. Have you ever
Really?
seen it done?
No.
It's kale chips. Really, that's what it looks like.
I can't say I've ever seen a kale chip either.
What?
How about a seaweed?
Seaweed chips. Yeah.
Seaweed chip. All right, I can envision that.
Yeah, and then he will sift those and whatever's really the fine powder on top. He got 31% is what it tested at.
Wow.
So it could be great animal feed that we're just giving, just throwing away.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, they can't feed it to animals fit for public consumption right now, can they?
They're doing studies
Or for public sale.
Yeah, I think that there's a dairy doing it.
Huh.
They've been feeding their cows, and
I want my food to eat
yeah.
hemp.
I want my food to eat
I
hemp.
want my food to eat hemp.
I want to outsource the eating of hemp to animals that I then in turn eat.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I got the hunter mentality. I'm sitting here thinking all the deer corn that I've put out, and you just put out out
hemp seed.
Yeah. I wonder.
You could totally feed it to deer. Well, I'm not a genius on this particular aspect of the law, but they need to approve it for animal feed soon.
Yeah. I think
That'd be-
it would be a good study for sure to see what the ratio of the feed was, and I grew up. My dad was a manager of a feed yard, so I grew up right by a feed yard, and so I kind of know the workings of how the grain and all that is, and it definitely could be doable. So.
Oh yeah, and what is that? I don't know what it's called. I remember feeding the cows. It smelled like molasses, and it had molasses and corn and wheat and stuff in it.
Oh yeah, all the good sweet stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I can just see
Oats
hemp and that being in
yeah.
that.
Just the seed, you get the oil in with it. Oh yeah, they would eat that up.
And then what? Now I have an acquaintance that feeds hemp to her chickens, and those are some of the best tasting chicken.
For all you vegans out there.
Sorry, don't mean to offend y'all, but I do eat meat. I can't lose my Cajun card. They'll kick me out of the
That's right.
culture.
What if you feed hemp to rabbits or chickens, and then feed the chickens to alligators, and then eat the alligators? Is that... There's your
Well-
Cajun food supply chain.
Yeah,
There you go.
but then the thing with alligators is they like it rotten. So, because like if you'll watch like Swamp People or stuff
Yeah.
like that, they get that chicken, they let it sit out in the sun and get all funky, and the nastier it is, the more the alligator likes it.
Huh.
That's why I don't eat alligator.
Huh.
I don't eat catfish either for the same reason. They eat
Yeah,
garbage.
exactly.
But that theory doesn't make any sense.
Do you eat
because
crawdads?
Yes, that doesn't make sense because I'll eat crawfish and shrimp, but they eat garbage. I just don't eat big garbage eaters, I guess, like alligator.
Big garbage eaters.
But alligator is so dang tough. It's not an easy meat to cook. Like if they were to bring one in, if it's over 3 or 4 feet long, I don't even want to fool with it. I don't want to cook it.
It's like calamari, like
Yeah.
squishy like that.
Yeah, it'd just be tough, and
I can't say
Anyway.
I've eaten alligator. Rattlesnake I've eaten.
I've eaten rattlesnake.
Yeah.
So you could
Yeah.
feed hemp seeds to mice and then feed the mice to rattlesnakes and then
There you
eat
go.
your rattlesnakes.
Hey, just
you
come
go.
get mice in my house. They're full of hemp. They won't quit eating it.
The mice won't?
Yeah, they're the problem in my house. I brought them in with the seeds.
Really?
Mhm.
That doesn't surprise me.
They love it. They're shiny and big and fat. And
Oh.
So what else legislatively, or like what else is going to happen in 2020 with this legislative
Well,
session? What are we going to go
Okay.
fight about?
Yeah. Number one on our agenda is workplace drug testing. So that is what actually I just came from a meeting, and we just got our first sponsor, which was
Nice.
Representative Melton. So thank you. And yeah, we were there talking about expungement and civil asset forfeiture, and those are going to be two things that are taken on by some other organizations. We want to work on expungement with the other organizations, and they're going to help us work on the workplace drug testing so we can kind of cover each other's tracks whenever one isn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so important because, unlike alcohol, if you go out on Saturday night and you get tore up with alcohol and they pop a drug screen on you Monday morning, it's not going to show up that you've been drinking on the job.
Yeah.
However, if you go to a cannabis event or indulge or whatever and use cannabis and get popped on Monday, it'll show. And you could lose your job. And there's a lot of people who could be patients who are not patients because they don't want to lose their job due to testing. My son's
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, and it just becomes a bigger problem when you see as much CBD products that are being made and sold, and they're everywhere.
Right.
And so when people are getting a hold of these tinctures or capsules and they're at 0.3% THC and say 25, 20, 50 milligrams of CBD per dropping, that's definitely going to fill up your fat molecules with
Oh, yeah.
with the THC, and then they're popping hot when they're on CBD products.
Right.
And I did have that happen to a very close friend of mine, and needless to say, they don't talk to me very much anymore or at all.
Like you
But,
did it.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why I'm fighting so hard for this piece of legislation, is because that was really wrong. All he was doing was taking CBD, and they were capsules, and just because it had the 0.3% THC, he still was hot. So
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing if you do the math. The Department of Transportation cutoff for their screening test is 50 nanograms per milliliter, and then they do a second test at, if you fail that, at 10, I believe. I was on the phone with Quest Laboratories about this a few weeks ago for quite a while. And if you do the math, if you take a full gram of a CBD tincture that has 0.3% THC in it, like do the math and how much blood is in the human body, it's definitely a pretty sketchy proposition, even if you just take one dropper full, let alone, incorporate it into your life like people do.
yeah, yeah.
Like every night before
I'm surprised
bed.
that hasn't been a bigger deal. I'm surprised that that wasn't a news cycle yet.
Yeah, I think
people popping
everybody
drug
was,
tests for CBD.
Yeah, I think it kind of became on the news a little bit when I heard CBD was turning into THC, and
I
I
heard
was
that,
like,
yeah.
what the heck? No, it's really the THC and the CBD that's making people pop hot. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to have people fired or, pre-screened for THC before they actually can work. It's lawful within the state. So really all we need to change is something in the Colorado Revised Code and add 2 sections, and it's just lawful activity. And federal, we may have an issue there only because everybody goes back to that. And I guess each business can choose what they would like ultimately, but
Right.
it sets the stage and the standard.
Is the terminology in there going to encourage more patient red cards? If somebody has a card, is there going to be terminology in there that they can't be fired if they have a medical card, or is it just testing?
Rather than just workplace
Right.
or just recreational users.
Right.
Yes, we do want to put it in there, even just to get even medical patients protected. So red card holders would be in there as well. And there's also another bill that's going to protect red card holders. So hopefully with both of these, at least we'll get medical covered. And a lot of people, I don't know if they remember the Coates versus Dish case, where there was a guy who, Brandon Coates, and he worked for Dish Network, and he was a quadriplegic, and he was fired for being positive for THC. And he took it to court, and they took it all the way to the Supreme Court and lost. And the Supreme Court ruled it, and I think that was in 2014. So it's a Supreme Court ruling, but that's what has held our state back so long. I guess in regards to the workplace drug testing is because of that ruling. But I think if we go in it with a different route on saying it's lawful activity within the state, then we'll be able to go around that.
So rather than not fire him, Dish Network fought it all the way out
To Supreme Court.
Screw Dish Network.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Put them on the list
Yeah.
with Discount Tires, TCF Bank,
Wells Fargo,
Yeah. Yeah.
Insys Therapeutics, makers of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Dish Network. All right, they're on our list too. Just
put them on the list.
Yeah.
You're on the list.
They're
Crappy
axed.
businesses.
They're axed.
I wish we could do something to make it easier for people to get cards and it not be so financially straining to do so. I remembered in 2015 when I got here, I was popular because I was sick, and boy, everybody wanted to be my caregiver. Whereas, legislation changed and plant counts changed, so it was no longer the big deal. But still, we have so many patients and that have given up their card because of cost. Or it's just easier to go down to the dispensary and join a club or whatever, which makes it harder on the people that need it the most.
It makes it harder, and I've noticed it's became a little bit dry in the market for medicinal cannabis. So
the money's not there. People aren't getting it done. I'm guilty of this too. I had the choice of join this club or renew my card, and I was just looking for the best price. And this is all of us. This is all of us patients. Which is going to do better? Do I spend hundreds of dollars and get the card, or do I just go with this program? And but we're losing count of how many patients we have. And that's so important statistics wise, and for legislation, that we have an accurate number of how many patients we really have.
Well, there's some legislation that I haven't quite talked about openly yet, which I guess we should hear, since that's all your points are directed towards it. It's a legislation motto: "Let doctors decide." So we can take it out of the hands of politicians, and they don't need to be being our doctors or making medical decisions for what we feel, and we don't need to go to them and give a 2-minute testimony every single time they want to hear us, to let them know what our medical ailments are that need fixed. So in the "Let doctors decide," we want patients and doctors to decide what's best for them, but this also puts doctors at a risk too, because of where they work. So we're trying to figure out and piece together how to protect the doctors as well as the patients.
Right.
So that, and it seems like only 2% really of doctors will or are prescribing or recommending cannabis right now.
My doctor recommended it, my primary care physician, and he said he talks into a dictaphone, or he's got some gadget to take dictation, and he said recommended to the patient that he uses indica strains at night. And I was like, good job, doc. I'll talk to you about how to say these words. But
Sativa.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
I was proud of him he had made an effort. Like the first time I went in to see this new doctor, he was, not as in favor of it as he gradually came to be. But indica.
Indica.
Keep hitting them indica strains at night.
Well, I want doctors to be able to be protected as well.
Yeah.
That's huge. Huge. To even be able to have a conversation with your doctor and let them feel safe. Or I know I tried to give my general practitioner some topical, and she couldn't take it. She couldn't be caught with it.
Yeah.
And it was from Veedworks. It was CBD topical.
Yeah.
But they need that protection.
They do.
And then, but to think about it, I want the doctor to experience the relief that I get, so that they get it.
And that's really hard, and it's unfortunate. We had an event that was going to be October 4th, but the partners had pulled out of it last minute, and there were going to be a good, I would say, 10 doctors there discussing cannabis. And it was only a one-day event, so I'm a little glad we have another year to put one on, because we're going to make it a 3-day event where a bunch of doctors can come in and discuss this, and we want to make it not a fight or a battle on stage, but we want to have a controversial talks with people who don't agree with some aspects of, say, the vaping crisis that we're seeing. We know what it is. It's the vitamin E, and you guys are fully aware. And to have those hard talks on stage. And so we're looking to have that next year, and it'll inform a lot of the doctors, because it's a CLE, continued credited program for the doctors, and we just think that that's super important to bring that on board too.
Yep.
I want to tell people again that on November 2nd, is that right?
November 2nd, Saturday. Yes.
Saturday, from 5 to
5 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock in an undisclosed location that most of you have been to in Denver.
Yes,
And
in Denver. We'll just call it CS.
CS. Yeah.
CS. I think I put the location on Facebook, but
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, because you have an off-site consumption,
exactly.
so we don't have to be so secretive.
That's very true. Yeah, we could definitely say, because we're good with it off-site now.
Okay. Well,
We've danced the dance.
We have.
early bird tickets are $20. Late bird tickets are $25. VIP tickets are $50, and they include face painting and a swag bag a swag bag, not a swag bag. A swag bag. worth $125.
Yes.
Worth the goodies.
Please come out and celebrate. And we're going to have Jonathan Singer there
Awesome.
to speak about what, he's going to be doing this year, and also running for what he's in Boulder County.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have Ty Coach there, who him and I, we've discussed a little bit about the recycling, and it seems like sustainability is the number one priority right now in Colorado, and especially on the governor's agenda, that we see so much going to waste, and the plastics being used out on the hemp farms with the drip line, and not being able to recycle your eighths and
Right.
your fourths, and anything that you get from the dispensaries are a big problem now. And so we have him talking about recycling, and what he does is he goes around, and if you actually clean out your bottle, you can take it back to the dispensary and drop it off.
Huh.
As long as you wash it out and there's no residue of any cannabis in it, you are able to still take it and drop it off. And so we're going to be setting out bins out front of the event on November 2nd, and for every 10 bottles you bring in, you get $5 off your ticket. You get $5 back.
Oh, shoot.
So
I
we're
wish
gonna-
I'd known that.
Oh no,
threw
you
away
just
a
get
bunch.
rid of it. So we're gonna offer that, and then once we start this pilot program, he goes around and he's already doing it, and he'll have the disc golf frisbees to show you, but he goes and collects and regrinds them and makes them into sunglass frames
Oh,
or
that's
into
cool.
disc golf frisbees. So those will be there, and yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to have everybody there. We're also going to have Joe there, who will be discussing the doctor event that will be going on next year
Nice.
about controversies of medical marijuana. So
Cool beans.
yeah,
All right.
I was going to try and fire this up. Play us out.
where's some cumbia music?
Cumbia.
That's what's gonna be at that party.
Yeah.
Some pinatas. We're gonna
We
have.
need Adrian Zelski to do some cumbia music,
Yes.
because he's hasn't sued me yet, and I do appreciate that. We're trying to get him on the show one of these times.
Shoot.
But, do you know any jokes?
Really bad jokes. Really, really bad jokes.
Mom jokes.
Like bad, like dirty, or bad, like just
Like not
like
funny.
grown?
Like not funny.
Yeah.
Cricket jokes.
Cricket jokes.
That's what I can tell.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Ashley Weber, Colorado NORML, thank you very much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you guys
I remember
so
we were
much.
trying this a year ago because the harvest came up,
Yep.
and so I'm glad that we finally got you in here.
Well, thank you guys for being a sponsor in the November 2nd event too.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Thanks everybody
We will
for
be
joining.
there.
Thank you, Julie, for setting this up. As always, I'm Travis Lippert reminding you, if you don't get hemp here, get hemp somewhere.